What is going on, guys? It's your boy Josh Leverett, aka Cali K9, and today we are gonna go over exactly what the 5-pillar dog training system is all about. The Cali K9 way is what we say. This is gonna break down exactly what you need to know, how to get your dog on point, front to back, using the Cali K9 5-pillar system. So make sure to like and subscribe, comment, show some love, and let's go ahead and get right into it. First, I'm gonna look at where your dog is on the spectrum. So for dominant dogs, they're on one side of the spectrum. Overly confident, very self-assured, very pushy. On the other side of the behavior problem spectrum is gonna be the dog that's very nervous, very shy, very reactive, very aggressive because it's reactive. And I have to take that dog and create a lot more confidence to make it as a balanced dog, and then take the dog that has a lot of drive, who's very pushy and has bad manners and dominance, and balance that dog and bring it into the middle of the spectrum. So both issues can go out of control, but the whole goal is for us to create that balanced dog that allows us to take our dog anywhere and have full control based on whatever genetics or based on whatever experience the dog might have. So we have 3 phases of teaching the dog. The learning phase is where we're gonna show the dog what it is that we want him to learn without distractions, with lots of motivation, with lots of help. You wanna get that dog used to doing a lot of repetitions, motivated in the dopamine state without any distractions. Next, we have the proofing phase. Now, the proofing phase can be done with distractions. So what it is say you have your dog sit, I throw a ball, your dog falls for the distraction. That allows you to make a correction so you can proof that behavior and make sure your dog can sit through balls. Another way a dog can be proofed is you put another leash on and pull the dog out of position. So you can have someone kind of pull against, and what that's gonna do is make the dog fight and stay in position, because you'll be making corrections to really make sure that the dog is staying accountable to what you're saying. Now, the last phase is the securing phase, and this is where you say use it or lose it, right? And the securing phase is where you're gonna do the maintenance on the dog and keep the dog sharp, doing your 15 minutes a day. And that's how you secure behavior, to really make sure that it's gonna lock in when you really need it. Next, we'll talk about the 5 pillars. Obedience, socialization, agility, behavior management, and problem-solving technique. In order to fix problems, you have to have a foundation of obedience. They have to follow through with something that you're teaching them, and that's what obedience is. They do it even though there's other options, even though there's more distractions, even though there's other stimulation going on. The dog's gonna choose to do it and learn that it has to do it, so it can go ahead and get rewarded and not get in trouble. So when you talk about socialization, you're gonna talk about skateboards, scooters, shopping carts, vacuum cleaners, dogs, balls, you name it. So your dog needs to learn how to tolerate that type of stuff in order for it not to be pressed into feeling scared or reactive, because it's already be desensitized to it and it's already learned to tolerate these types of socialization stimuli. The next thing that we work on is agility. Agility is super important, because when I talk about agility, it's not the dog doing a whole agility routine. It is literally teaching our dogs to walk over things, through things, stepping onto different surfaces, different elevations, and this in turn builds a lot of confidence and trust. You build your dog up to handle agility, that teaches your dog to be a lot more confident. Next, we have behavior management. Yes, your dog can be obedient. Yes, your dog can be socialized, but if you're not managing the dog's behavior around the different stimuli and all the different distractions, then the dog's gonna have an option to do obedience whenever they want. So it's up to you to manage the behavior so you can get the consistency that you need when training a dog. The last one is problem-solving technique. Now, generally what I say with problem-solving technique is you're gonna now know how to make a correction and get the dog to resort back to the positive behavior that you originally wanted, right? If you don't want the dog to jump on people at the door, you teach the dog to stay on its place. And then you teach the dog to learn how to greet properly. So problem-solving technique is gonna go back to the obedience, and it's also gonna resort back to how the dog was socialized. And this is why I say that problems become very reduced once you've taught the dog obedience and socialization. So the Cali K9 5-pillar system consists of those 5 pillars: obedience, socialization, agility, behavior management, and problem solving. The way we look at dogs is through temperament more than breed. So there's 16 dimensions of temperament, and this really allows us to understand what kind of dog that we're working with. So the 16 dimensions of temperament include the indoor activity level, outdoor activity level. Then you have the vigor and intensity. You have the emotional stability. You have the behavior consistency. You have the dominance with dogs, dominance with people. You have sociability with family members, sociability with strangers, sociability with children. Then you have territorial territoriality. Then you have the learning of obedience, the learning of problem solving, and the learning rate. Then you have the guard dog ability and the watchdog ability. So those are how we decide based on the breed and the temperament, how we're gonna go about a training routine that's gonna be a perfect fit for your dog. You need to understand your dog's temperament because no two dogs are the same. And by understanding your dog's temperament, we'll understand what you need to put emphasis on when you're training your dog. By not understanding your dog's temperament, might have you doing the wrong exercises when you're supposed to be doubling down on something else. So again, all of these things you figure out as you train the dog and as you work with your dog and getting your dog into that dopamine state and getting them to start working. Now, we have 3 objectives of the Cali K9 system. Number 1, improve your communication. Number 2, establish your pack leadership. And number 3, make sure your dog is having a blast through maximum levels of expression. From there, we'll make sure we're communicating clearly. That is the biggest thing I see people do, is not having black and white communication. There's too much gray area and your dog doesn't know that your consistency really means anything. Number 2 is you gotta make sure you have that pack leadership established. Your dog can love you, but it needs to trust you and respect you. Otherwise, the dogs, especially dominant dogs, will run all over you, and nervous dogs won't trust you in new situations that appear scary. The last one is gonna be the dog's expression and enthusiasm. And having the dog's expression, motivated, tail wagging, shows that the dog is comfortable, shows that the dog is motivated, shows that the dog is trusting of this new situation. And we wanna make sure that when we're training our dogs, they're a happy dog, they're comfortable, but they're compliant and responsive, okay? There's nothing wrong with getting both. Now, to achieve maximum behavior, we're gonna go through the motivation, we're gonna go through the leash pressure, or what we call low stim, and we're gonna have correction. So when you're driving a car, you have to have gas, brakes, and steering. When you're training a dog, you gotta have motivation, gas, you gotta have correction, which is brakes, and you have to have steering, which is leash pressure. So when we're handling dogs, we wanna make sure we're doing all 3, and that's what we teach you how to do in being a handler. Learning how to properly motivate, keeping your dog engaged and happy about training. Now, if you wanna get your dog in a dopamine state, you have to figure out what motivation gets them excited the most. So certain dogs are really into the praise, really getting the dog pets and praise. The next motivation is gonna be the food and the treats. And this is gonna be most dogs who are hungry, who wanna eat, or who like a nice, smell good treat that they can go chase down and you can utilize as a lure. Next is gonna be the ball or a toy, what kicks in their prey drive. So that is gonna be something that, again, for a lot of dogs who are high drive, when there's all these other distractions, you need something fun like a toy to really keep them engaged. Now, when the dog has a high level of motivation, we call that ignition. Once that dog has that ignition, now we can start teaching it some things, because now we can leverage the rewards that we're gonna use. But we're also gonna make sure that we're putting leash pressure, which is gonna create urgency. We want a dog to have urgency with all the behaviors. 99% of the time, the dog's just chilling. We wanna make sure that when we ask for a command, we get it with urgency. And number 3 is we gotta make sure the dog knows that there's consequence, and this is where you understand how to make a proper correction. Now, 99% of the time, your dog's motivated and engaged, and from time to time, you'll make corrections when they're distracted or when they're tuning you out. And this is very important if you want this dog to mind you in high levels of distractions and stimulation. So this is the $1 million question for you. Where is your dog today? If we were to go outside into a busy park, I like to even say Times Square, drop the leash, where would your dog's obedience be from a 0 to a 10? And that will tell you if you really have the control that you think you have, right? So if you don't have that control, guys, I wanna help you get that maximum level of control. And my background comes from working with working dogs, service dogs, police dogs, and I have a deep understanding of teaching people how to get that maximum level of control, get your dog in that dopamine state, that motivated state, and really how to educate you as a handler so you have zero liability in owning your animal. You have a dog that represents you, that is comfortable, doesn't stress you out, gives you a peace of mind, and a dog that's a great part of the family because he's properly behaved. Guys, this is so important if you want to have a dog nowadays, because now everything is dog friendly and we want to be able to take our dogs to these new places and really be able to enjoy them. So if this was helpful, guys, make sure to hit the links below. We'd love to help you out. We can schedule a call, we can schedule a webinar. You guys can check us out even deeper. Make sure to smash the like button and comment, and definitely subscribe if you like the content today, because our whole goal is to grow this channel so we can get you guys more information and get your dogs trained to the T the way they're supposed to be. Signing out, guys, for Cali K9, Josh Leverett. See you on the next one.